Ladies and gentlemen, this 209th day of Ukrainian resistance and the 9th year of the war. So I'm Andrei Shevchenko. On behalf of Ukraine Media Center, I want to welcome everyone and to greet all the journalists who fight for the freedom. We will talk to Serhii Kuiun, A95 Consulting Group Director. We will discuss the fuel situation. So we know that we're in the midst of a fuel crisis. There were some ideas that the market will be stabilized by the autumn. Did it happen that way as it was expected? Yes, it did manage to do that. When we talk about stabilization of the prices, actually it happened even earlier than we expected, because probably you already know that those lines which we had at gas stations, they were no longer there even in early June. We have quite a good situation when we talk about different types of fuel. We don't really have, it's not that we have a do not have a deficit. We have a profit. We have good resources, supplies. We have a good, well-built system of logistics with a good network. When we talk about transport and geography, we receive fuel from different countries. Poland, Romania, Bulgaria are the main suppliers, as well as some other European states. And in addition, we also have quite a unique transport structure. Some 40% of volumes are delivered by vehicles, and it gives a very flexible system to us. And in terms of security in particular, those vehicles, it's impossible to catch them, especially when we talk about enemy which is trying to target our supplies. But looking back, what decisions worked well? Because you mentioned 2 points: diversification of suppliers and markets from which we purchase the goods, and another point, the role of transport. Was there anything else? Well, of course, these were already the consequences, but the most important thing was that we canceled the state regulation of prices, and it meant that as many uh, suppliers as possible entered the market. Before the war, we had 70 importers of fuel. Then in June, we had 350 of them. So we see the numbers, how they increase when we talk about different companies, transportation companies, agricultural companies, and many others. So it provided an impetus for mobilization of business, and at the end of the day, it made it all happen, and that is why we had different types of fuel present. So what about your anticipation for fall season? Availability and prices. As far as availability is concerned, we have a good situation. We have really good supplies. The prices are close to minimum indicators, especially if we talk about wholesale. So here we don't really have any significant concerns. As far as prices are concerned, a lot depends on the world market, what will be received. But I want to say that the situation is also not very easy there. The closer we talk about the date for embargo being imposed, then there is more concern which we have, because the volume of Russian fuel is really colossal. When we talk about um, diesel, it is 3.5 million tons, and those suppliers and players on the European market with whom I communicate, and they don't really see a way out. They don't really know what would be a good solution to replace these volumes. That is why I think that it's not really about the autumn season, it's more about the new year and winter season. I'm hopeful that by November we will have a better understanding of what is going to happen, and apparently we will have some time to understand what to do next in new realities. And then if you take a broader look at the market, do you see any trends or any changes? Maybe Ukrainians, they uh, switch from one type of fuel to another one. Maybe there are some long-term trends that you've been observing. Well, what we can see is regarding volumes, because some 30-50% there is a 30-50% drop as compared to pre-war times. Depends on the type. We talk about gas 40%, diesel 30%. So are you talking generally about the market, or you talk about the consumption per consumer? No, we generally talk about a market volume. So it generally can be explained by the fact that we do not have as many people present in the country and fewer people use, because I think that it is a complex reason, because we can talk about the loss of territories, and also another fact is that many vehicles left the country. Also, we know that business is less active. It means that there is a lower level of fuel consumption. Another threatening trend which I see is that we have low quality fuel in the market. All of these developments that we've been through, it gave rise to an illegal segment of the market, if I may put it this way. These mini stations, there are some up to 10 plants. They are very active and they produce low quality fuel at these plants. And we see that the numbers are growing. Last week, the Institute of Consumption Expertise shared the results of one of the surveys, and they took some samples. Some 50% do not correspond to the standards, Euro 5, even Euro 3 quality standard, which is also allowed actually, and we can see it in the market. But there are very many deviations, and unfortunately, I think that the situation is similar with diesel, and that means that we can see that in the market there are more illegal gas stations being opened. Yesterday on Facebook, I described one of such cases, and it's very important that we have a better regulation coming from the state, from the government, because it will impact not only consumers but also the budget. Because when we talk about falsification, it means that the taxes are not being paid, and we know that our budget needs our taxes and our army needs taxes. There was Serhii Kuiun, director of A95 Consulting Groups. Thank you for your expert opinion. Another briefing will take place at 1:30. We will talk to Serhii Kuiun, governor of Zaporizhia region. Please follow our